How's everybody doing? Yay! Happy Tuesday! At least I think it's Tuesday, right? Tuesday? Sorry for the delay. We had a few technical difficulties. Just trying to get everybody on the same page and get our video started today. So you know what? I would think it was a Monday if it wasn't Tuesday. Okay. So how is everybody doing today? Welcome to the Craft Box Girl Live with Cece. God, I just realized I sing so much stuff. So what's up, guys? How's everybody doing? So I'm just going to say hi for a few minutes till everybody gets on. This is one of my favorite days in the whole entire world. I get so geeked up and excited about doing these lives for the Craft Box Girls. I mean, it totally like makes me just in my happy place. So we are excited to be back again this month. Doing some fancy stuff, showing you some cool things, letting you kind of see some cool floral crafts. And if you read the description, you saw that we are going to be working with lace doilies. They're actually paper lace doilies. I'm getting my inner craft girl going and gonna show y'all some more like crafty applicable things that have to do with the floral design world, because even though I do flowers, man, let me tell you, we have to be real crafty over here. Just not even playing. I am so jealous of Miss Lynn Lilly because she is at the cricket conference, and I just finally got my first cricket. You'd be surprised how many times I haven't needed one in my business, and so we finally broke down and got one during the Amazon deal days, and so I'm so excited, can't wait to use it. Here's to hoping I find the time to figure out how to work it, but it's coming. All right, so just in case you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Cece, and I own Cece Designs. We are a luxury floral and special event design company based out of Birmingham, Alabama. I even wear it on my shirt so that I don't forget it. And we do all kinds of event design, mostly florals and mostly weddings, but we kind of do anything, and we travel. I always say we go wherever the blooms take us. So we, in the next year, are going to be quite all over the place. I also am an event, a wedding and floral educator. I do 2-day training to where you can come in. I'll be at Wedding MBA this year speaking at that conference. I leave tomorrow for the Tennessee State Floral Association conference where I'll be speaking there. So we do all kinds of things around here, not to mention that I actually co-own a creative workspace collaborative. So when I say it, that's a lot. So I was just completely blessed and excited when the girls from Craft Box Girls called and asked if I would use my living skills for the Craft Box world. So this is, I think, my third one. I'm super excited about it. Molly, who is my assistant, she's also director of operations around here at Cece Designs, will be monitoring y'all's questions. Also, I have a chance to kind of look over here every once in a while if you see what I'm looking at, and that is what I am kind of staring at. So if you don't already, let me just go ahead and, like I said, we're just waiting for everybody to get on. If you don't already follow the Craft Box Girls or Cece Designs, please do so on Facebook and Instagram, and make sure you cut on your notifications so that you don't miss more like this. I'm going to try to do it once a month, but they are always posting fantastic, crafty, amazing things for you to do, and they also have other guest livers. So it's pretty amazing. You don't want to miss out. So follow Craft Box Girls and also Cece Designs LLC at on Instagram or Facebook. So all right, so let's get started. We got a pretty good turnout of viewers right now. Also, feel free to share this out. I have totally, even though I've kind of become the queen of lives lately, I have understood the power in sharing a good video. So go ahead and just tap that little share button and share it out so we can get everybody you know and all your friends on to watch this snazzy craft we're gonna do today. So while I get started, go ahead and tell me, where's everybody from? Where are you from? What do you do? Do I have floral people on? Do I have like party planners on? Or are these just like the craft goddesses of the world? Tell me a little bit about y'all while I run through our what you need list. Okay, so I had Miss Molly type this up for us so that y'all didn't have to read my horrible chicken scratch. I mean, it's horrible. So I'm gonna give you a kind of a close-up shot. I don't know if y'all can see that. I might have to get Molly to bring it a little bit closer to y'all. I'm gonna let her get it to y'all so that y'all can kind of see. This is what we would call a hard goods list that we're gonna be working with today. I know I have a tendency to talk super fast and ramble, so that way you're not just trying to rewind and play to figure out what I said. All right, so there you go. And so we have people coming on. Craft Goddess here. Hi, Jen. Yay! Love all sorts of crafting. And we have Karen from North Carolina. We have Leanne, Stacy, Tanya, Molly. Okay, all kinds of people logging on. Okay, so if you're just now getting on and kind of missed me showing that up close, I'm going to run through really quick what you're going to need to make these fabulous things. I'm not sure if you can see them right here. All right, so that's what we are working on today. Actually, hi Tiffany, the party planner. So we're going to be making these, all right? So I'm going to just set that off to the side. It shows up backwards, so I'll post in comments. Oh, well, shut up. I forgot we had it turned around backwards. Never mind. So I'm going to read through it, okay? What you're going to need, you're going to need 3 different sizes of vases. We used a 10-inch, a 7-inch, and a 5.5-inch. You can get these from the dollar store. Gold paper doilies, okay? So we ordered these off of Amazon, okay? They come in a pack of, I think, like 25 to 30, depending on what size you get. Make sure you get the kind that has the pattern all the way to the center. They also have ones that have a big old like solid section right here in the center. Those don't look as good, so make sure you get the gold doilies, like I said, that go all the way to the center. Another thing, hi, thanks baby. Yes, people have started letting us know where they are watching from. So these are the gold doilies that I ordered. I ordered 3 different sizes. The largest one is an 8-inch, all the way down to a 4-inch. It's totally your preference. I do 3 different sizes. I do an 8-inch, I do a 6-inch, and a 4-inch. And like I said, these are just paper doilies. Easiest place to get them is on Amazon. Now, I will tell you, the other thing I have on here is gold spray paint. And the reason why you need gold spray paint is because when these come in, you know, everything's trial and error, especially in the crafting world. I am queen of trial and error. I never make the same mistake twice, all right? So when the first time I used this snazzy little trick, they really come in white on the back side. They're gold on the front and white on the back side. I did not like the way that looked. So I actually have some from my original attempt of making this a few years ago. I don't know if y'all can see, but see how you can see the white, like the white backing on the inside? That really just drove me crazy because I'm all about the details, all right? So what I did is you just take these out, lay them all on a piece of cardboard, and give them a light spray of some gold spray paint. I call that color enhancing. I just think that sounds classier, color enhancing. So we color enhance the back of the doilies. So you're gonna need 3 different sizes of that, gold spray paint, some votives. Oh, I got some of my UK people on here. Hi guys. Hi Leanne, hi Shannon, hi Donna. Oh, you're from Georgia, so you're just right next door. Hi neighbor. Some just regular gold votives. Oasis brick. For those of y'all that don't know what that is, this is an Oasis brick. You can get it from any type of floral supply place, but even Hobby Lobby has it, okay? So it's this white, this green foam stuff. So you're gonna need to get a couple of bricks of those. You're also gonna need to get a glue adhesive. The kind that I use the most is also from Hobby Lobby. It's the metal leaf adhesive. I don't know why I like that better. It just doesn't leave, it doesn't splatter everywhere near as bad. Like, it's got a good spray. So that's the adhesive that I like to use. Also a little bit of sheet moss, and what I like to refer to as Oasis pods. These are going to be a little harder to find if you're not a floral designer, but they still should have it at a floral supply company. And it's these little snazzy doodads right here. Okay, they have the flat plastic bottom and they have the Oasis foam on the inside. So this is what an Oasis pod looks like. Yes, please keep telling me where you're from, and please let me know if you are a craft goddess, as I like to call it. If you're in the floral or party planning world, I would love to know. So, and some of the flowers that I used, is totally up to you what you used. But what I have used is I have used some regular red roses and these gorgeous pink roses. We are using some hypericum berries. That's yet again another reason why I wrote the list out, because most people don't understand what I'm saying, but it's hypericum berries. We have some ranunculus, some tulips, some snapdragons. We have mixed greenery. You can use any kind of greenery. One of my favorite things to do here in Alabama. I realized that just recently when I went out of town that they don't have this everywhere, but we have what's called Iliagnus. It's one of my favorite greeneries. You can just go right outside my front door here at the office and cut it. So forage greenery will work. Make sure you know what you're cutting. Do not put poison ivy in these arrangements. You will regret it. Just make sure you know what you're cutting and make sure that it can hold up. For more about Cece Designs, please check out her website. Oh, thanks, girls. You're doing an awesome job. Yeah, so we talked a little bit about making sure you're following me and making sure you're following the Craft Box girls on all of our social medias, and turn on your notifications so that you can get more of these, okay? So that's my hard good list. My snazzy husband, who's just amazing, is going to put that in the comments. Since I forgot, it shows backwards. All right, so we've got that. Let's see what else. So what we're working on is, I actually had, when I talked to Craft Box girls about us doing this, I realized this was going to take like 3 seconds. So we're going to add a couple of more things in, like a little extra bonus feature. So not only are we going to learn how to make these doily vases, but we're going to learn the best way to design in a terrarium. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ways to use these vases. We're not a one-trick pony around here. We're going to do a couple of different ways. All right, so first things first. What you want to do is you want to take your gold doilies, all right? Yet again, y'all heard me talking about trial and error. And we did this the wrong way a handful of times before we figured out the right way. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to take your adhesive, all right? Normally we would do this outside, but I didn't want to drag y'all with me, so we're doing it in here. So here's to hoping I just don't get high off the fumes, okay? So what we had done in the past is we had tried to do this where the first time we did it, we sprayed the vase. It was a disaster. It didn't look so good, okay? So what we learned is spray the doily. So if y'all missed the first part, you're gonna take these, they're white on the side, on the back side. You're going to spray them gold, light gold. Don't douse them because it's paper. You don't want to soak it. So then what you do is you take your spray adhesive, okay? And I just give it a light coat, do it on some cardboard or something, all right? One of the girls that works for me found the easiest way to do this is to, can y'all see that? Okay, there we go. Is to take it and actually lay it on that. And what we'll do is we'll roll, all right, and let it just grab to the glass, all right? There we go. You just want to hold that for a second. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing on the other one. Spray adhesive, and then what you're going to do is overlay it on top of the other one, all right? So see, now what you want to make sure to do is you want to make sure, because these are so fragile, do not go down past the vase. You want to hit right at the edge, and you want to make sure that you really coat the outer edges more than anything, because you really want these really delicate areas. Can y'all see that? You really want that to lay flat, all right? And what I love is this little pull up right here on the corners. Look at that. And then put it all the way around. So that's how you attach them. Like I said, if we were just doing that video, we would be done, but we're not. So that's how you prep the doilies and get them ready. All right, so now what I've done is now I'm gonna show you how I use them. So what we did is we put a couple of different cylinder vases. You can get these also Hobby Lobby, any kind of craft store. So what we did is we used these 3 taller vases, all right? And here is our finished product. So what we do is we take tall, we're gonna take the medium, I think it's actually gonna go back here, and here's your small, all right? So what we do, this could even be used if you're not a floral guru. If you don't want to do florals, you could totally do this and put some pillar candles in here, some floating candles in here. If you're somewhere to where it's flameless, you can also use battery operated. I like the mixture of the ones with the gold doilies on it and the ones that don't have it. I just think that's a snazzy look. So I prefer the 3s. I'm of the school of 3s. So what we do is we'll kind of pull that so y'all can get. So just imagine this sitting on a table. It's pretty fantastic. I'm not even gonna lie. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna move this to the side because now I'm gonna design the pod. So I'm gonna show you 2 different ways. I'm gonna show you using the pod, and I'm gonna show you how to do it using Oasis because this is a little bit harder to obtain than just the regular Oasis. This is what I prefer in the floral world, but I did want to make a version of it that was gonna be very easy for you to access, that you could do without having to go buy any type of specialty containers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move this to the side. All right. All right, I'm gonna move my dried ones over. Hi, Amanda. Let me see, do I have any questions? Cece Designs, okay, cool. All right, so we got everybody. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take the already soaked pods. Okay, that's what you wanna do with Oasis. You always take your Oasis, this is what it looks like dry, this is what it looks like wet. So you always want to take this and you want to let it submerge in water. Usually, ideally about 20 minutes. You can't over soak Oasis. Now what you can do is not submerge it correctly. Even though I've been doing this for 17 years, floral design, I only learned a few years back that you're not supposed to push it down into the water. Always when you're dealing with Oasis, you only sit it on the water. So in this case, we would sit it this way, very lightly on the water, and let it, the weight of the water integrating into the Oasis, pull it down. And that way you're getting it fully soaked and you're not gonna run into any dry pockets because that'll kill your flowers, okay? So dry Oasis, wet Oasis. So we've already pre-soaked ours, all right? The reason why I love these, is because look, ta-da! It was almost like it was made for these vases. Oh, ta-da, like how amazing is that? So, and it's because they have these little snazzy little rims right here, all right? So see, you could even make this your jam, like just this. You don't even have to have that once the flowers are done. Now, typically what I like to do, I'm funny. There are people in the floral world who disagree. Everybody's got their own taste. I don't like an empty vase. I think it looks unnatural because I feel like when we started using the Oasis pods, we're trying to give the illusion, you don't see the pod. So we don't want people to know that's there. So I really like to have water in the vase because that gives more of the illusion that maybe the stems could possibly be down in there and you don't see them. So typically I would fill these even with water, but you gotta be careful because these are paper. So always be careful when you're using water filling these up, all right? Hi Julie, where do you get those large cylinders? Okay, so first of all, the smaller ones in the little sheet that I typed up, dollar store all day long. This is gonna be more TJ Maxx, Marshalls, even some at Walmart. If you do have a floral wholesale house that you can go to, you can get them there. You can pretty much get these really about anywhere that's going to sell any type of crafting floral or home decor stuff, okay? So most of this, dollar store, and then the bigger ones, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Home Goods, things like that, you can get the bigger ones. And just run the gamut on sizes. I have about a billion different sizes, all right? So, you're also gonna need a really good pair of snippers. A lot of times people just find whatever to cut flowers with, and yes, it gets the job done as far as like cutting the excess off that you didn't want. But the reason why it's so important to have a good set of snippers and a good clean set of snippers so the bacteria is not on it is that when you do cut a flower with a good set, it causes a clean cut and does not squish, as we like to say in the South. Squish the stem. A lot of times if you use a dull pair or something that's not meant for cutting flowers, what it does is it smashes the stem, and then you're just stopping any water from getting in it, and then you wonder why your flowers died. Okay? And always cut on an angle. All right, I hope that answered your question, Laura. Anybody else have any questions so far? Anybody else? Anybody else? Anybody else? All right. So if you're just tuning in, make sure you watch the beginning of the beginning of the video, because I explained to you what these were and how we made these. These are just gold paper doilies off of Amazon that we glued onto dollar store vases. And man, don't they look rich? I mean, it looks like you spent way more money than like $1.25 on each one of these centerpieces. It can have a very Moroccan feel. It can have a very like elegant formal feel. Multiple different looks with this, just depending on what you're trying to go for. So there you go. So first things first, if you've ever watched me design before, you watch me and you know that I use a lot of greenery and I green up first, okay? So in the beginning part of the video, we talked about how you can use any kind of greenery. You can go forage some greenery. It's totally up to you. I am actually using what's called Salau. And because these are such tiny little pods, you don't want to use a lot. Because what I don't want it to do is I don't want it to distract from what we have going on down here. But what I do want it to do is I want it to cover up my what? I am adamant about always telling people you should cover your what in floral design. You've ever watched me, you've heard me say this, you know what it is. I wonder if anybody out there has listened and heard me say this before. You also heard me say that we're going to need some moss. This is also another place that I can use it, is we spray this with water, wet it down, and just because that sits probably about 1/4 of an inch in the glass, a lot of times if you don't want to spend flour, time and energy trying to cover that, you can always use the moss. And so see, now that totally takes away covering the bottom part of the pod. All right. So who knows? Has anybody said what I normally say? I am always trying to cover your panties. Okay, you never want to show your panties, period. But you never want to show your panties in floral design. It's kind of like a magician. You never want to show how the illusion's done. So what I don't want is I don't want this and somebody to come and sit down. You got to remember, a lot of times that the level you're designing is not necessarily the level people are seeing it at. So you'll see me a lot of times when I'm designing for a wedding, I'll be like, I'll get way down here, because I want to look at it at the angle that all the guests are looking at it. So when somebody's sitting a little bit lower down, they're going to be staring right at that, and that's ugly, and I don't want people to see that. So that's what I call the panties of the arrangement, and you always want to cover them, because that's a sign of a really good designer. So we're going to use the moss, or you can use greenery. You can spray paint it the color of the palette of what you're using. You can do multiple different things, totally up to you. Right now we are leaving the moss off, and I'm going to put a little bit of greenery in it. We had some smilax around here also. Molly, do you see any more of that? When you're using your greenery, also cut like little bad sections off. Make sure that you're only using the good. It was in that arrangement right there. All right. So, and you want to try to do, like I said, smaller greenery usually works better. These are very big leaves, this is allow. So it's going to poke out just a little bit more. I do have some. It was hiding from me. So I'm going to actually cut a couple of these big leaves off. Like I said, you don't want to overpower this arrangement since it is so small. All right, we have some smilax. I love smilax. A lot of people have it out growing in their yard. I jokingly referred to not using poison ivy if you're going to go foraging. And that was no joke when it comes to smilax. Smilax, his best friend is poison ivy. They like to grow intertwined with each other. So if you do have smilax and you can spot it, like, you know, out in your backyard, make sure that you approach cutting it with caution, because we do not want any phone calls of people saying that they are covered in poison ivy while they were trying to get smilax, okay? So, all right. So I put a little bit in, not a ton. Now what we're gonna do is there's a couple of different color palettes we have going on here, but I really love this deep, dark blue hydrangea. So many people have these out in their gardens. You can get them at Whole Foods, your local wholesale house. This is gorgeous. It's very hardy. It holds up. This is actually a couple of days old, and it's been used in arrangements, and it still looks fantastic, but I wanted to use it. So what we're going to do is it has these little arms. I don't know if y'all can see that. So we're going to cut each one of those off, each one of those sections off. All right, so that's what I'm doing right now. All right. And then what I do, hydrangea is very fickle. It dries up the minute you cut it. So I'm going to give it one more cut before I put it in. All right. And these first couple of areas that I'm going in at, minus that one, okay. I am going to go in at a upward angle. And what again I'm doing here is I am trying to cover my panties, okay? So at this upward angle, that allows the hydrangea to lay a little bit downward and flat. All right, I'm gonna cut a couple of small pieces. All right, let's do a couple more. Just keep inserting those in. I have a bigger section now that I'm gonna do kind of up. Now the good thing about hydrangea in this look, it is a little bit more of a packed look. That's why we didn't put a ton of greenery in it. So you want to really coat this pod or your oasis with the hydrangea. That's really just going to get you a lot of ground coverage. It's going to cover your panties a lot. It's going to get you a little bit of color everywhere. So look at there. So I went all the way around. See, one more section right here. All right. So one more section. There we go. So I went all the way around. You see that? In a full circle. So I don't have it all the way covered, but I have it pretty much covered. All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take one of these gorgeous red roses. These are called Freedom. All right. I don't normally like red roses, but when they are a much deeper, darker color, I'm a fan. All right. So all you do is give that a little cut on the angle and pop that in. And I am not scared of mixing red and pink. Love it. This is all kinds of colors. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put a pink one in. And when you're dealing with making these little pods, you want them kind of a rounded shape and you want them tight in. I have a tendency to make a lot of arrangements that are very garden and gathered and free formed. That is not necessarily this look, okay? We want a tighter, more spherical shape. Or you can purchase some at Hobby Lobby. Okay, anybody have a question? So what we're working on today is we made these lace doilies. I showed you how to attach those at the beginning of the video. And I'm showing you how to make these snazzy centerpieces out of dollar store vases and like pennies on the dollar paper doilies that you can get at Amazon. All right, so I think I'm going to go ahead and put one more row. So I clustered these two. I think I'm going to come over here and just add another one. Yet again, getting it really tight in. Then what we have is we have these gorgeous, gorgeous dark mustard yellow ranunculus. All right. Especially when you're working with Oasis. I probably should have thought to get this. I'm gonna get Molly to hand me one. Wire your ranunculus. They have a very hollow, tender stem, and especially when you start getting them really short because you're trying to get into something like this Oasis that we're working with. You want to wire them. And there's a couple of different ways to wire them. My favorite, since it is a hollow stem, is literally just to go up the stem. Okay, so it's got a hollow stem, and what I do is I take this little bit thicker gauge wire and I run it right up the center of the stem. Now, a lot of times this has a tendency to take out the natural curve of the ranunculus, but because it's wire, look, you can just kind of bend it and get it into place, and then you don't have to worry about the softness of the stem. So I go ahead and get it pretty long, even though I'm gonna cut it. That just allows me to know exactly how much I'm gonna use, all right? So, and that helps me really get that plugged down into the pod. You see that? And that wire allows me to bend that, all right? So I put one on that side. I'm gonna put one on the back side, all right? Use a little bit more of the wire. I'm going to wire that up the center. Get it in there. All right. Cut. And then I am going to put one a little bit. Ta-da! See on the other side? All right. Other things that we have to play with, we have these fabulous yellow billy balls. Love them. Love them. Love them. All right. So they can have a tendency to look a little out of place if you don't cluster them. So that's what I'm doing is I'm taking like 3, 4, kind of whatever floats your boat. And you want to cluster those. Do you see that where I kind of tuck that in? And then I'm going to put a couple more on the back side. All right. And I used those at more of an upward angle. So these I'm going to go a little bit lower down. All right. So, ta-da! All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep building that. Actually have some locally grown zinnias. Love them. They also have a hollow stem, so you can wire them just like I showed you the ranunculus. I'm going to tuck that in, and then I'm going to do, let me see, one more. Let's do one right here. All right, and it's just, I love these bright, vibrant colors. Okay, ta-da! See where I kind of put both of those, and I think I'm actually going to use one more pink rose. All right, so we're gonna come right here in front. All right, kind of right next to our ranunculus, and then we're gonna do a pop of the red berries right in between the two. All right, look at there. So that did not take much, all right, much at all. So we just kind of built that, get that rose in just a little bit more. I think I'm gonna add one more to give this a little bit of height. All right, move this little fella. And so see, I actually didn't even put the moss in. I took the moss out after I showed y'all where to kind of put it. So what's cool about that is I still pretty much covered my panties without even it needing the moss. Put one more section of berries right here. All right, so there you go. So you make this little dome that just sits on top of this glass, all right? So what I'm gonna kind of do is quickly, see if I can make one more. Yet again, you don't wanna leave the leaves too long. You want them to be just long enough to maybe cover, like I said, the panties of their arrangement. All right, we're gonna take another blue hydrangea. Now would be a good time if anybody has any questions. Oh, look, there's Lynn. She's got all kinds of questions. Thanks, Lynn. So excited to be watching from Salt Lake City. I know I talked about you in the beginning and said that I was so jealous of you and your Cricut conference going self. I totally used your code, which these girls are always posting some kind of cool discount or code for something crafting. I used their code that they posted just recently, and I am now a Cricut owner. I am so excited. I had 1,001 different uses that I just was every day. I was just raising Cain, wanting, Molly can tell you, just if we just add a Cricut or a silhouette. So I finally broke down and used the code and got one, and cannot wait to get to using it. So she is in Salt Lake City doing some fun goddess fabulousness for crafting. So let's see what else. So excited to be watching you. Do you have tips for not piercing the stem when feeding the wire through? Yes. So when I feed the wire through, when I am wiring my ranunculus, I have a tendency to really shape the stem of the ranunculus while I'm doing it. So what you can do, like I said, see, this ranunculus already has that little natural curve in it. So when I am adding the wire to it, if I just run it straight up, like Lynn was saying, it's gonna come out somewhere that I don't want it. See, look at right there. We came through the stem. I don't know if y'all can see that. So when I'm wiring it, I kind of know where my wire is, and I use my fingers. And so if it's leaning that way, I press it a little forward, okay? If it's leaning the other way, I press it a little forward, and I just keep lightly straightening the stem. You can feel the wire running through it until I feel like, ta-da, the wire's there. What you don't want to do is do what I just did, which is have the wire come out the top. So I stop right below that. So just really guiding it with your fingers. But like I said, once you do that, look, you can make that flower pretty much go any direction you want once you have done that. So good question, good question. Let's see if there's anything else. Thanks, Laura. Hi. Dee just logged on. Look, we got all kinds of people. So I'm going to go ahead and get a couple more of these in, like I said. Get those. All right. And you don't have to make, you know, the cool thing about when you do something like this is you don't have to make them all the same. All my pods, when I do this style, and I use this a lot for weddings and special events, all my pods, when I do this style, are not identical. I don't want 3 little baby clones of each other. I won't, a lot of times they will have the same amount of stuff in them, but they might be just used in a little bit of a different way. So I just changed that up. You know, cluster the 2 reds, the 2 pinks. All right. Now we're going to felt roses. You could, I think you're saying you could use felt roses, right? Why not? You could. You could actually, even though I'm not, I'm a fresh floral designer, so I'm always going to be an advocate of fresh flowers. You could do this in silk all day long. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different ways you could do this. All right. So clustering those 2, let me get that. This mustard yellow is so bright. I love it. If you aren't already following me, like I said, come follow me personally or come follow me on Instagram or Facebook, and you can see I made an arrangement with these colors yesterday that was stunning. Even if I did make it, I don't care. It was still stunning. I absolutely loved it. So we got a couple more of these billy balls, and I'm actually just going to kind of put them in one little area back here in the back. Another thing is you always want to pay a lot of attention to all sides in floral designs. Unless this is going to be like right back up against a wall, you know, my theory is I always want whoever's sitting on the back side of the table to have just as much pretty as who's sitting on the front side of the table, okay? So there we go. And I'm going to whip this one together real quick also so that y'all can see the finished effect. And then I'm actually going to show you a totally different way to do it, okay? So Don't judge me on this last one because I'm just going to try to whip it together real quick so that y'all aren't just sitting here waiting on me. Most anything when you use Oasis will hold up pretty good too. There's a few flowers, you know, since a lot of this might come out of your garden or might come from grocery stores, different things you want to stay away from is you want to stay away from anything super delicate like gardenias or anything crazy and kind of along those lines. Those are not going to hold up good in Oasis. What are hardy, orchids, you can always get those from the grocery store. Let's see what else is going to hold up good. Roses. I always tell people also too to think about the shape that you want to design your flowers in. I'm using a round pod. I am putting it on a round cylinder vase that we got from the dollar store. If you see the pattern going, it's kind of round, round, round. So what you don't, you know, what usually doesn't look good because this is a small one is big, giant, not odd, but different shaped flowers. Like the calla lily probably would not work well in this. It's got that very, you know, dramatic point to it. And a lot of times it can kind of not really show real well in something like this. So that's something that I might want to stay away from. Like I said, really anything delicate. Roses are always going to be like, you can't go wrong there, okay? Can't go wrong. Is that what they are? No, these are not felt roses. These are gorgeous, like real fresh roses. They just look like they're velvet or felt. These are just all fresh roses that I had brought in for an event, and we were going to use them also for this fabulous tutorial. So let me grab one more of these. And so this one's a little smaller since I'm going down to the smaller size. I'm not going to put quite as much in it as I did the other ones, so I'm definitely backing it down just a little bit. I still covered it completely with the hydrangeas, but I am not going to put quite as much of the other stuff in there as we did. So let me get this little guy in. All right. And another thing too, when you're doing floral design, make sure you have depth, like dimension in your design. Things should never always be on the same level. You don't want a dome of flowers. What you want is dimension. You want something that's kind of pleasing to the eye. So you have some that come up a little further, some that go down a little bit lower. All different types of dimension when you're doing your floral design really makes it super, super, super appealing to the eye, okay? Now what you don't want, let me just warn you, you don't want all this down here and then like this one random guy. You see that? Can you see that? Like that's a little too much. You want to keep it in proximity of everything else, okay? So, thanks, Lynn. Cece is using fresh flowers. Yes, ma'am. I love it. Show Cece some love. Thanks, guys. Yes, and don't forget to share this out. If you're just tuning in, if you like this, if you have friends that are following you, that are your friends on Facebook, and they're craft goddesses just like y'all, share this out because let me tell you, it is an easy, easy thing to do. All right, so here's the finished product of this one. Don't forget, we got something else we're going to learn too. All right, so here's kind of the finished product. So what I do is I take the taller one and we kind of have it in the back. We have the smaller one in front and the medium sized one. So once we get all of this, we have water, we have floating candles. Let me move this a little bit this way. All right, we have a few lit votives tucked in. Da, 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 da. Where's another one? Yeah. All right. Look at how snazzy this winds up being now, okay? Totally applicable for any party, any soiree, dinner, you name it. So that's option number one. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move these kind of out of the way. Now, I'm not going to redesign them, but I'm going to show you, I promised showing you a way of just using the brick Oasis. Are they preserved or in water? They are in water. They are in what's called a piece of, it's called an Oasis pod. We soaked it and it was wet when we started using it. So that's what they're sitting in. So this is the other version of it that I wanted to show y'all, okay? So let me scoot this off to the side. I'm gonna scoot these in. All right, where's my lighter? Did I bring that over here? Let me see. All right, so let me clear all this off for y'all. All right, so this is another way that we actually use these. All right, I'm gonna move this to the side. So yet again, dollar store vases, paper doilies. All right, now what we did is I'm gonna get Molly to zoom in on this one so y'all can kind of see. All right, so what we did is we went ahead and we filled these vases with water, and they have little Walmart floating candles in them. I mean, all this stuff y'all can buy anywhere. All right, so come on in, Miss Molly, so they can get a really close-up view. There we go. I know y'all been waiting on that. All right, so here is, like I said, close-up view. We went ahead and used the spray adhesive. Make note that these smaller ones take 3, but anything past that going up a size, they only take 2. All right, so we went ahead and put those in. So let me show you. What I showed you is I promised a way that you could do this without, hold on, my Siri's trying to talk to me, without having to use those pods. So what I did is I took a regular just brick of Oasis, all right, come back a little closer, there you go. So I took a regular brick of Oasis, and look, it has lines on it. I don't know if you can see, 1, 2, all right. So I took a third of Oasis and I cut it, all right. So this is what a third of Oasis looks like, right here. Then I cut it in half. I took the third and cut it in half. And then I actually cut the third in half to give me this little section right here. Now, it does not have the plastic bottom, but look how perfectly that sits on these little candle pedestals. I mean, almost exactly the same. So designing in this, super, super easy, going to be just like your at-home pod. So you can make those. So even though these are designed in the plastic pod, but look at here, they can also be put on these candlesticks. We use this a lot. So what we do is we take that, and these are actually made out of like terracotta. I think I bought them at an estate sale. You can tell me how many times they've been color enhanced. Any candle pillar holder that you have will do. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bigger one, move it now. So originally we had them on the gold doily vases as the centerpiece for the flowers. Now I'm showing you how we can use these as just candle holders. So we have this. Is that the smaller one? Yep, that's the smaller one. All right. And what I usually do is I take this tall one, which you don't see very well right now, but whoever's on the back side will. All right. And did we find our candle holder? I mean our lighter.
It's beside you.
Okay. So let me move this. Let me move this a little to the front. There we go. So let me light these. All right. When you do things like this, though, you need to make sure that you are not right up under the flowers. We do not want any leaves catching on fire. That never ends well. All right. So I'm going to move that one just a little bit. And then always I take my snazzy votives and add those in. So let me get her to back up again. All right. Now, look at that snazzy centerpiece where we have taken them and sat them. Touch the center of my face so that the light adjusts. There you go. So look at that, y'all. Look. So that's using these now as, look at the light, how that reflects on these gold doilies. And even you can see it kind of coming through right here. Love it! So there's multiple different ways that you can do this. If y'all saw the big cylinder vases that I had that we just moved off the table, you can still mix those in to get a little bit more height. A lot of times I will take the smaller one, okay? And we could do this, like I'm just showing you all different kinds of ways move him over, and then what we'll do is we'll take this, and so it's all about being versatile, how many ways you can really use this little project. I mean, look at that. I mean, is anybody mad at that? I mean, how pretty is that? You could totally make this very easily at home. I promise you, you're thinking, Cece, this is so easy for you because you do it all the time. No, it's so easy, I'm telling you. So that's how, so pretty, perfect for bridal, baby shower, dinner party. I mean, you can't go wrong using this, okay? So, so that is how to use the lovely lace dollar store vases and lace doilies from Amazon. I swear to you, I think it was like $2 for a pack of 15. So, I mean, we're talking about just pennies. Adhesive glue to the dollar store vases, water, some floating candles, ta-da. So, I'm going to move this one forward. And like I said, I really thought that was going to go by much faster. But I guess because I like to talk a lot, it took a while. But I'm still going to show y'all the other one. We're going to do it pretty quick, okay? So, like I said, don't forget, it's a very easy way. Just soak your Oasis, sit that, and then you are ready to go. It just doesn't work on the vases. The pillars is the only way this version is going to work because, see, this would just pretty much sink right on through, all right? So the other thing I was going to show y'all while we were here are these fancy little terrariums. Do y'all see that? I mean, how cute are those? Look, they're everywhere. You can buy these yet again. Home Goods, Hobby Lobby, West Elm. I did a floral workshop for West Elm a few years back, and these were just kind of coming in. There's, I mean, so I know y'all have seen them everywhere. And here's another one. We just did an event where we got to use these. They're, especially if you catch them at Hobby Lobby on half off, they can be pretty inexpensive, okay? So the key to doing a terrarium, and that's what it's called, is a terrarium. Trying to spell that is real fun. 50th anniversary, yes ma'am, you could totally do it for 50th anniversary because gold is fabulous. I love this terrarium, so pretty with the flowers. Thank you, thank you. So the key to terrariums, this is another one. I love this like hexagon, octagon, I don't know my gons, whatever shape this is. So, look at those. So the key to using these properly is how much you put in them. You can totally overload a terrarium. The simplest way to use them is if you do know what succulents are, you can buy succulents and you can put them in there. They need very little water source. So they hold up really, 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 really good in there because they are a desert flower. I can still manage to kill them, but they hold up really good in there, especially if you want to grow one. But if you want to use it as like a centerpiece, the key to this is simplicity, okay? So what I want to show y'all is that little piece of Oasis. Look at here, y'all can watch that I showed y'all earlier. So look, I'm soaking that. And look how I'm just letting it sink itself down. Do you see that? I'm not pushing it because I don't want any dry spots. It's just taking that water up, all right? And once all of it has turned dark green, I know that it has covered up all the dry pockets and I don't have to worry about that. It's almost done, all right? And then we're gonna take some of that moss that I showed you. Can you hang a terrarium? Yes, all day long. I actually have one that's somewhere else in my workroom that is a terrarium that has a chain to it. And, now these would be a little hard to hang because they don't have the little hook or whatever you need, but a lot of terrariums come with the hook. So yeah. So if you're just tuning in, yet again, why you late? Where you been? Why didn't you show up earlier? That's okay. I'm not getting on to you because I'm always late. We just got done making these fabulous dollar store vases with the color enhanced paper doilies that I got off of Amazon. Super cheap craft. I mean, everybody loves cheap craft. I mean, it took so little time to make that I had to add a whole bunch of other stuff in. Little candles. All like just can snazz up any party all day long. And now we're moving on to one other little quick like bonus I was going to throw in. So now that's fully soaked. All right. So what you do, clean your terrarium really good too because it is glass, so you don't want a dirty terrarium. So what I do is I just sit that in there, okay? Then I take my moss, which you want to spray down with a water bottle and get it like really damp so that it doesn't just shed and go all over the place. And yet again, if you have been watching since the beginning of the video, I am doing what I am really serious about, which is covering my what? Who heard me say that earlier? Anybody? So that's what I'm using the moss for, is to cover my something. It's kind of my mantra. Who was paying attention? Yeah, I didn't know we were gonna have a pop quiz today, did you? Shut up, yay! Definitely a pop quiz. Okay, so what I did is I kept that. It was the same brick that I showed y'all earlier, okay? So we cut it down into a fourth, then we cut that in half, and then we cut this in half, okay? So not a big square. You don't want anything giant in there, just enough for you to put the flowers in. Nobody was paying attention earlier where I said I'm covering my what? Come on, I know somebody heard me say that earlier. All right, so what you want to do is very, very little greenery. I don't even think I put greenery usually in my terrarium designs. One little sprig of the blue hydrangea, okay? Kind of get it down. And I'm going to get Molly to zoom in really close on my hand so that y'all can see this. Let me see here. All right. All right. So looky here. Okay. Let me move you out of the way just a little bit. All right, so there's our terrarium. There's our oasis down there. There's the moss where I covered it to cover my, yes, Kathy, yay! Lynn, I hate you missed it. Please go back and watch it from the beginning, and you can find out how we made these super, super inexpensive containers right here, and I did the flowers to go in them. All right, so let me move this over just a little bit. Now we're doing just like a little bonus, okay? So cover your panties. I'm so proud of you. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that. The only downfall with working with terrariums is you have to have tiny, tiny hands because there's tiny, tiny openings. All right, come back this way just a little bit. There you go. All right, see? Kept everything low, everything down tight. I mean, you want to get it as short as you can get it. Because like I said, the downfall to bad terrarium arrangements, it's usually somebody trying to put too much in it, all right? And y'all know I like some excess around here. We're going to try our best not to overload him, all right? We're going to take this snazzy little zinnia, and I'm going to get him up high and then pull it down just a little bit. I do like that one little piece that comes up higher because I think that just like is, and then you keep everything else low. All right, and then we're gonna take one of these. Let's see if we can find something a little bit smaller. Maybe one of these pretty gorgeous tulips. All right, and again, we're gonna go right straight into the oasis. All right. And I'm gonna move him just a little to the side. All right, see, look at there. All right, let me move this little guy. Move him over just a little bit. All right, and then what I really love is we didn't use it on the other stuff. I call these fuzzy caterpillars. That's really not the name of them. I just think they look like fuzzy caterpillars. Look at that. This is actually called fountain grass. Love it. I wish we had like Fill-O-Vision so you could feel that. Sometimes I will use something like this kind of spilling out, or sometimes like we could even take this little guy out if we wanted to. And let me see if I have a little bit smaller one. Oh yeah, look, we have some tiny ones. Look at here. So you can use this to kind of get your height in here if you want to. Anything cool, like I said, with some texture is always going to look really cool. What I do is I kind of curl him. So what I would do is then put another one. Okay. Get him in there and kind of take both of those. They'll want to cooperate. All right. So you can, like I said, it's all about the textural things that you can have in there, have spilling out. But the key is, like I said, do not overload it. You want to keep very minimal stuff in there. I really like this. Let me see if I can find a piece of this Veronica and show you. All right, I really like the way these little Veronica kind of curve in there. So anything that you can do that's up high, has a point to it. All right. Ta-da. So here we go. So yeah, look, a little bit of, like I said, this one actually had some greenery in it. You can back up now for me, Miss Molly. This one actually had some greenery in it. But look at those little guys. I mean, like, how easy was that? And then every couple of days, depending on how long you're going to use this for an event or something, you just want to make sure that this is not going to hold water. These actually, the kind that we have leaks, so we just mist them or spray them, like if you're going to make it the night before for an event. But like I said, we used, what, 4 tiny flowers. That's what makes these look really good. Even this bigger one. We have some freesia, we have some gorgeous hydrangea, a little bit of seeded eucalyptus, in one rose. It does not take a lot. Coming from a non-minimalist, it is the hardest thing to do to not overdo these, but they are so cute. I mean, they're so cute. Like, look at those little things. You can sit them around everywhere, use them for a party, use them for a special event. I mean, can you use LED candles? Yes. Wish we could buy these terrariums in the UK. Kathy, can you not get them off of Amazon? I guarantee you, you could maybe have them shipped. Do y'all have Amazon in the UK? You've got to have Amazon. I'm surprised they don't have these there. I'm totally shocked. Yes, you can put LED candles in them. You can do 1,000 different things. And the one last thing I wanted to show y'all too, let me show you this. There's so many ways to use these gold doilies. Let me tell you, and I've tried them all, okay? So we saw them as using the gold doilies as, so just a little recap. We saw the gold doily vase using it as a holder for flowers. Look at there, all right? Mixing that into your centerpiece. We used the Oasis pots, all right? So that was kind of option number 1. Then we saw it, how you see it now, to where we used the gold doilies, and then we put water and floating candles in them and used them to accentuate the floral centerpiece that's sitting on the table, or you can mix the candle pillars in with the gold flower, with the flowers on them, and mix those in. So that was the other option, but this is another one that we have tried before. All right, I'm gonna show you. So what we did is we actually took the whole vase outside, the whole entire vase, and sprayed it with the doilies on. I'm gonna get Molly to get close again, all right? So, and what we did is after we sprayed it, you just take this, usually we just use tape, okay? Just use some tape, peel that off, all right? Make sure it's dry, because ours really isn't. And look at that! Look at there! I mean, the things you can do with some doilies. Make sure you get all your little pieces off. But there we go. So you can almost do like an introverted version of this. I mean, hello, is that not so cute? Does the flowers last longer? I cut the flowers from my garden. Garden flowers usually are going to get you about a day's worth of use out of them, okay? So many different ways to use this gold doily design. I hope y'all like that. Let me tell you, I know how to get a lot of bang for my buck if I'm going to spend the money on it. But, I mean, look at that, just kind of mixed in as another, there you go, as another candle holders. And if you notice, I always use these drop-in votives. I'm good now. Poor Molly, she's just like, how long do I have to hold this? I always use these drop-in votives. That way you don't have to ever clean out your votives. Hello. So you just take these. Ta-da! We're done. That's what's also in here, so that I don't have to clean wax out. And there we go. So, I mean, y'all got like the combo pack today. I don't know if you know that. Y'all got so many crafts in one. Like, we did it all. I mean, and who knew it all started with some gold paper doilies. And they also, with the adhesive that I showed y'all, they come off so easy that you can still reuse the vase for other things. So, do you have a sample of what the flowers are on? Yes, I do. Hi, Heather. So this, what I was saying in the beginning, we actually used the Oasis pod. Now, this is going to come from a floral specialty wholesaler place, okay? Or you can make your own. I don't know where my smaller section went. Let me see here. Let me show y'all. What we do is we just take a regular brick of Oasis, which you can get at any Hobby Lobby or any place like that, and cut it into these little bitty squares. Now, if you want to actually sit it on a vase, like I was saying in the beginning, it has to be these because it has this little lip that holds it. So go back and watch from the beginning of the video and you can see how we used it that way. But if you want to use the, like I said, any kind of pillar candle holder that you have, this is terracotta. It's been color enhanced a few thousand times. That in return, now you can just use your little bitty piece of Oasis. So there we go. Does anybody have any questions? Who learned something today? Who's gonna go home and try this? We need to come up with a cool Craftbox Girl hashtag, because I would love for like people, when y'all go home and try to make these things and make them fabulous, I want like hashtag Cece I made it, or something to where I can totally come and see how amazing you did, because it's so much fun and it's so easy toying with flowers. So please, if you have any questions, please go ahead and ask. If I jump off and you still have a question, or if you're watching it on the replay, post it in the comments, because I'm always coming back. Even if you're watching it on the replay, please share it now. Even though we're almost to the end, share it out, because I guarantee you somebody on your friends list is gonna thank you. They're gonna be like, that crazy girl with the flower in her hair, that Cece girl, oh my God, I learned how to make the coolest things watching her. So please share it out. But I have really enjoyed y'all yet again today. Like I said, I hope somebody learned something. I hope somebody is like, wow, mind blown. Gonna, Cece Creates, love it, Lynn, love it. And wire. The wire is what I used to actually wire the ranunculus. There was no tape, adhesive, or anything. We just set the pod on there. I will have to go to the beginning and watch. It's been a busy day, but always love to see you. Thank you so much, Heather. Lynn, I love you, girl. Thank you so much. So, yeah, so I hope that y'all really enjoyed it, and I would love to see somebody make this. And I'm going to tell y'all also, if you are not following the amazing Craftbox Girls, which is where you are watching me right now, please go and follow them on Facebook and Instagram, and make sure you cut your notifications on, because I will be back at least once a month coming up with some new crafty fabulous thing to make. And I really thought deep and like hard day, because I was like, ooh, because you know everybody loves how to do it like on a dime. So I was like, dollar store vases and doilies. It's one of my favorite things. I use it all the time in my like luxury over-the-top weddings. It's a good thing they don't know, they probably do now, that it's dollar store vases and paper doilies. But there's just so many ways that you can use this, and it totally elevates a look and takes it to a different level. So thanks again, guys. Thank you, Craftbox Girls, for having me. Like I said, go follow the Craftbox Girls. Cut your notifications on. Please come follow me at Cece Designs LLC on Instagram and on Facebook, and cut your notifications on for me also, because I do go live every now and then when I am not on the Craftbox Girls. We're always doing something crazy around here. So have a great week. Thanks for tuning in. Please leave your questions, and I think that's everything. Am I missing anything, Lynn? I think I got it all. But if I didn't, believe me, I will be back and I will catch y'all next month. And I am leaving on Wednesday, like I said, to go speak at the Tennessee State Floral Association. I'm one of their featured speakers there. And then you can catch me in October at Wedding MBA. And then at the Empowered Retreat also in October, I'll be speaking there. So check us out. Thanks again. Have a great week. Thanks, guys. Bye.